You know,
I don't think you really know what you're doing on a television show until you do a podcast about it.
I've learned so much.
So what did we do again? I don't know. Let's rewatch it and do a podcast so we know what we did.
Welcome back to Talkville, nitty gritty. We're at the end of season 6. These are the last 2 episodes coming up in the season.
Yeah, I think this episode is called Scratch Off.
We were just talking about scratch offs, how I wanted to scratch off, and I was really pumped. I mean, look, most of the time you lose, but when you win, like I won $1,000 on a scratch off, and then $600. So I'm up $1,200 on scratch offs.
Wow.
But I'm sure at the end of the year I'll be even or losing because you don't win.
So, when do you buy them? On like Mondays or Tuesdays? Or
Saturdays. I buy them on Saturdays, and there's 3 different places I rotate. And every time I go in there, they're like, if you won more than 100, we can't help you. I'm like, what do you mean? It says in the thing that you could just take it to any gas station and you could. They're just lazy. People are lazy sometimes. They don't want to. All right. Anyway, Talkville. Here we go. This is the Rewatch Podcast. This is episode 21, correct?
Yeah.
21. Holy crap. Just a few things before we get started. Tom's here. Bryce is here. And Ryan's here. Indeed. But you want to go to my Instagram at the Michael Rosenbaum and my link tree. You can see all the cons we're going to. Me and Tom, and we're doing Smallville nights. We're going to Cincinnati. We're going to Denver. We're going to
Dallas,
Cruiseville, Dallas. Make sure you get a ticket for Cruiseville if you haven't. Go to cruiseville.com to go on the cruise with us. It could be a one and done. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I know a lot of patrons are going. So at the very least, you're going to have fun with other patrons. You're going to have fun with us. You're going to have fun doing your own thing. It's just going to be an adventure. A lot of excursions. Tom's making a lot of noise. I'm also on Cameo. A lot of Cameo. I've been doing a lot of cameos. Tom's on Cameo. And
that was the enemy. He just made a cameo in this podcast, and now he's out.
Jeez. If you want to get merch, go to talkvillepodcast.com, but also the Inside of You online store. There's a 15% off right now if you want pilot scripts, Talkville or Smallville lunchboxes, other scripts, merch, tumblers, ship keys, autographed, Funko Pops, Lex Luthor's, all that stuff. So go to the Inside of You online store. I think it's 15 Smallville or Smallville 15. If you want a discount, maybe.
Smallville /15, 50 off. That's Smallville 50%.
Jeez. Also, if you haven't joined Patron and you want to support the podcast and keep this going, we go season to season. So we'll have to see. It's really up to the patrons because the patrons support this show. It's if you look at the production, Ryan, what Bryce does and what Jason does, what they do, it's pretty elaborate. And it's I feel like they put a lot of hard work into this. I know. And, that takes a lot of time and a lot of work. And so your support and your help keeps this podcast afloat. I will say that over and over because I mean it. If you didn't get a chance to call into our hotline, leave a question for the episode, make sure you do for future ones. All that and the information is in the show's description. And make sure you pick up some Rosie's Puppy Fresh Breath on Amazon for your dog's breath. You got to get it. Rosie's Puppy Fresh. Without further ado, let's get into season 6, episode 21. This is called Prototype. Title Prototype aired May 10th, 2007. Matt Beck directed it. Never heard of him. Don't remember that at all.
Well, he's going to love that.
Well, I just don't remember Matt Beck because I did 160 episodes. You're not going to remember a guy who did one episode. I don't. If I saw him, I might go, nah, I probably still wouldn't remember. But he did a great job. Writer Stephen DeKnight. Stephen DeKnight writes a lot of good episodes. He really does. And he was on the podcast. Guest stars Tahmoh Penikett as Wes Keenan. Did a great job. Gerard Plunkett as Dr. Donovan Jameson, and Alan C. Peterson as Senator Ed Burke. I looked him up because I wanted to see if he was still alive. And he works a lot. He really works a lot. And he was great. The senator was really good. He was
evil.
Yeah, man. He was good.
The reason why you haven't heard of Matt Beck, that is the only thing he's directed. He's a VFX guy.
Oh, there you go.
So that's
okay. So
it's his
so they gave him like a
it's a shame because
any
he did a good
VFX
job.
in this to note that was.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to deal with it. I
think
just want to direct the episode.
There's got to be VFX in everything because I had a friend who worked on VFX on The Good Wife, the show, and his job was to like key out like the hairline on her wig every episode.
Really?
Yeah. So there's VFX on everything. Like someone's gonna ask like some little cosmetic thing.
I'm sure she's happy that someone said that.
The show's over.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding. Synopsis: When Lex's morally corrupt project begins its testing phase, it puts Lois's life into danger, challenges Clark's ability to save the day, and tests the strength of his trust with Lana. The episode opens in space as we see a satellite target a large, there you go, visual effects.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, what's that? Looking to infiltrate a Luthor testing laboratory. After Lex's security team decides to phone it in once again, Lex tries going Rambo and popping shots at the invisible force that is destroying everything, and we discover that this mysterious creature is none other than Wes Keenan, the military member that Lex presumably kidnapped and was testing on. That was a really cool opening. I really thought it was kind of cool. It's like, what's this thing coming towards them? What is it? And then the reveal. I thought it was pretty cool. I also like that squirrely scientist guy. He's like,
well, Lex Luthor, apparently,
With a vague accent.
yeah, he's got like, unfortunately, Lex, we don't have a that's pretty good right there. I think I found it. Yes, I'm the scientist, and
According to my calculations,
Mr. Luthor,
shut up. Lex arrives home from an honest day's work and finds Lana killing time with some orchids. They get interrupted by a senator who steps by for an update on Project Ares. After getting guilt-tripped for being given military resources, Lex plays dumb with regards to how far along his murderous prototype really is, to which the senator responds by shutting the project down. So what's Lex's motivation here? Money? Or was he just using the resources to further his testing?
I don't know. I mean, this episode comes out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really has no connection to any other episode, which is kind of refreshing. But the answer is I have no idea.
I guess it's coming back to the whole 33.1 and all the things that he's doing. And, it's like we're amping it up here with one episode to go. We're like changing directions or switching gears, if you will. Ryan?
Over in Metropolis, Lionel is watching old home video of the Zoners until Clark comes in hot and ready with questions about his involvement in the Lana situation.
I'm not so sure about Lionel's haircut.
Yeah,
it's too short. It's not as doesn't have it just
it's not as menacing.
Yeah, it's not as I don't know. And maybe it's because he's sort of the good guy in a way. And
they should have called Ryan's friend who does VFX.
That's true.
Good callback.
He works on Star Trek now.
Excrement.
Did he get it cut for something else, or was it for this, do you think?
I don't know.
I wonder if it was another project, or if they were trying to make a character choice with him, which is
well, no,
strange.
I think he's in that in between stage because he had his head shaved at one point, and so it's gotten to a point where it's
3 seasons ago.
Yeah, but I don't think it would have grown that long, would it?
He denies being the one to give Lana the confidence needed to carry on with the wedding, and Clark threatens to take the gloves off. Back in Smallville, Lois is trying to cheer up her cousin who is heartbroken over Jimmy's trip to Milwaukee. Clark waltzes in and tries getting Chloe to share more details about the Lana anomaly, that's a fun word, of her becoming a Luthor. Unfortunately, Clark goes 0 for 2. Later that night, Lois confronts the senator about his $5 million Cayman's account. He responds by calling her sweet cakes and sicking his men on her. However, they begin getting killed one by one, including the senator. In an ironic way, he is finally allowed to see the fruits of his Project Ares come to fruition.
True. That was a great scene. I wasn't expecting him to die so soon.
No.
I remember watching once again. This is just me watching. I'm like, I don't remember any of this. Do I have what's going on with my brain? I can't remember any of this. Is that weird?
No, I don't remember this episode. But that's what happens. Like toward the Christmas break and toward the season finale, I don't remember anything.
Yeah, I agree. The next day at the DP, Clark arrives to a busy newsroom as a speculation around the senator's murder is rampant. Lois talks about the silent but deadly killer and shares her army brat history with Wes. Even her dad loved him, and the general hates everybody. I just always think when she says, the general would never, I always think of that crappy commercial, the general, the general commercials. You don't know those, Ryan?
With Shaq's in them. So
yeah, it's so brutal. Yeah, and every time I think of the general, I think of, anyway. Back at the dam, who's that? John Gotti checks in on his prototype. He's informed that his hit on the senator is successful as he tells his men to leave no witnesses. Have to admit that even though it's being used for evil, this is an amazing technological feat by Lex Luthor, and there's no way it could go wrong, like if the being gained sentience or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's what happens. He gets like this. I don't know that whole thing where remember me. It always comes back to that, like, dig deep. You can do this. It's me. It's happened to many characters.
Yeah. Oh God, there's some famous ones that I'm blanking on where that's a thing. Like you're in there somewhere. Is it RoboCop? It's not RoboCop.
Oh, how about Darth Vader?
Darth Vader. Yeah.
You're in there, Dad. I know it.
Yeah.
I know it. And then he kills, what's his name?
Yeah.
In Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
No, the Jedi will rule.
Lois Lane heads to her safe house for the night, the Kent barn. Despite Lois being a magnet for dead senators, Martha is unbothered. As she leaves, Wes stops by to deliver a haymaker to Clark's chest. Before he can turn Lois into the Black Dahlia, she calls his name. Say my name, triggering something deep down. So instead, he puts on his invisibility cloak and super speeds away.
Yeah, kick the crap out of Clark.
Yeah. I mean, there was some cool stuff. Definitely some cool visual effects. You could tell the guy knows what he's doing. He was in charge of all that.
He knew how to set it up, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Clark heads to the Talon to let Chloe know her cousin is kidnapped. She responds by asking, what's the use of his superpowers then? Clark admires Wes's strength and invisibility while Starsky and Hutch prepare to confront Lex. Over in the Luthor mansion, Lex gets understandably upset when his 30 minutes of candle lighting doesn't lead to any action.
Jeez.
To make matters worse, not only has the passion in his relationship failed to return, but also his prototype has failed to return after nabbing Lois. After seeing Lex get turned down, Clark swoops in to check on his girl. He asks Lana if she overheard any sort of God of War military project. After discussing...
Because Lana's going to tell him everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
After discussing Wes's warpath, Clark shifts the convo to Lana's marriage and questions why in the hell she would stay.
Yeah. Lois wakes up in an abandoned warehouse and pleads to Wes deep down inside to snap out of it, and the prototype is unfazed about her heartfelt drunk night out until he suddenly begins to shake and change consciousness. Lex shows up to his damn who's that. Bryce, good job. A lot of those today. And politely asks his head scientist why the hell $1 billion worth of research has gone missing. Lex says he's not looking for guarantees, just results or guarantees that there will be results. The scientist initiates a pulse to re-trigger the prototype's command directives with a freaking space laser.
Dr. Evil.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, you know what it is? It's like the one thing's for sure is Lex is getting darker by the minute.
Yeah.
There's like all of a sudden it's just this plunge after just a few episodes ago, him saving Clark and thinking there's
just a few episodes ago he was tricking his fiance into feeling like she was pregnant. And after that,
that's true. But maybe he didn't do it, because there's something at the end of the next episode where I kind of go, maybe Lex didn't have anything to do with this. Maybe it was something else. I don't know.
I'm still confused.
Because
he was very into like the whole baby thing.
He was very convincing. I was believing what he was saying.
Wait, you think Lex wasn't involved in the fake pregnancy?
I think he was involved, but I don't know if he...
No, it was a good performance because it's not like you read the rest of the episodes other than your scenes. You were playing scene by scene.
Yeah.
So the writers did a good job of,
Yeah, because I don't know what you're talking about, but this time I kind of believed him, which makes me an idiot. But before Wes, back in his sound mind and body, begins sharing a story with Lois about how Lex convinced Wes to join the project willingly. Shortly after this, Wes begins to have a brain blast, forcing Lois to run away only to be captured and choke slammed and brain blasted, unconscious.
Thanks to a tip from Martha, Clark is able
Just the tip.
Just a tip. Clark is able to hunt down the prototypical bad guy and begin getting his ass kicked. Before he can get shanked, Clark pulls off a Godzilla-like blast that sends Wes flying conveniently at the exact same time that Lois wakes up.
Is this light supposed to be on? Wes says his goodbye in binary code as Clark watches Lois tearfully lose a friend from a distance.
The next day on the farm, Lionel does a bad job of reading the room by stopping by as Clark and Martha discuss the loss of a decorated veteran. He suggests Martha take Senator Burke's seat until the next election. Interesting. Huh. Good idea, Lionel. Martha is hesitant to uproot to Washington, but Clark encourages her and says they can finally sell the back 40 so he doesn't have to work it anymore.
It takes so long for Clark to work that back for you.
Yeah. Just so many seconds. Over in Luthor Mansion, Lex is doing his best to clean up his billion-dollar politically intertwined disaster. When Lana walks in, he confronts her about snooping in on his conversation. She apologizes before getting told by her husband that he doesn't know what he'd do if Lana betrayed him. But what could be worse than what he's already been attempting? While Clark and Chloe contemplate the inevitable path to darkness that Lex is on, they learn that Lois is meeting with the feds and is about to bust this whole operation wide open until she gets shot down for working at the Inquisitor. And back in the damn who's that? Lex tells his scientist that this is not the end of Project Ares, as they observed Wes's dead body before planning a shot to reveal rows and rows of unconscious clone test subjects. I thought it was really cool, but I thought there was too many people. I thought it's a cool shot, but I'm like, you have 1 million people in there? Smallville.
There's a lot of people.
There was a lot of...
It's like...
And weren't they all Wes Keenans? Weren't they all the same?
Were they?
Did you notice that?
Yeah, kind of.
Bryce? It kind of felt like they were all Wes Keenans.
Yeah, Lex isn't
like
really...
that scene in the Matrix where he wakes up in the...
Yeah, he's
It's
not
like
really
Lex is
diverse
a
with
type.
his cloning.
Maybe he's like, this guy's got a sick body. He's military. It's perfect. We're going with Wes Keenan's prototype. That's what I want. In fact, shaved his head. I want him bald. Closing thoughts. Pretty brutal that now, not only is Lana staying in the relationship to protect Clark from dying, but also to protect the world from Lex. I love Norm Macdonald when he's like, yeah, so in 1914, you see, Germany decided to go to war. And they didn't just decide to go to war with one person. They went to war with the world, you see, right? And they do this, and they come close, but they end up losing. And, 20 years, 30 years later, Germany goes to war with the world, you see. And it was a pretty close one. And, and he starts talking about, like, should they be a country anymore? I love Norm Macdonald. The morality to Lex's character quickly crumbles this season. Didn't really build much, just vanished. I felt that way too, Bryce. I'm glad.
Yeah, what was the triggering point? Was it something
up.
last season? Why did it just become like this evil?
Yeah, I just don't think, like, what triggered him to do the pregnancy thing? Like, that was like so uncharacteristic.
The only thing I can think of is he
wanted to keep
wants
Lana.
He wants Clark to see what he missed out on. That's the only thing I can come up with.
I guess all those, those times in the mental institution and all these things weighing on him, and, everyone reaches a threshold where he's like, I'm not letting her get away this time. And he's kind of gone down that road, but now he's not in the full on bad guy, but he's really gone down that dark path where it's just a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, there's only one season left for Lex, my Lex.
Mm-hmm.
or any Lex. Well, not really, because I come back.
No, that's it.
If you're just listening, spoiler
Nobody
alert.
ever did Lex Luthor after that.
I didn't. Working with Tahmoh, he was really sweet, really cool, really easy to work with. Tom, do you like working with him?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this episode just moved along in its own way that had nothing to do with anything else.
Yeah. It was
You
just
guys remember working with him before, or were there like combos of like, hey, welcome back?
I never worked with him before. I'd seen him at a signing, an autograph signing, a convention, but yeah, he was pleasant. I didn't work with him much, but interesting things of note. You ready for this? Clark says he can lease the back 40 acres to Ben Hubbard. Hubbard is a character in Superman films who took over the Kent farm and cared for Martha when Clark left. Good insight, Bryce. Where do you
Just
find
the
this shit,
internet.
Bryce?
I actually read the comics, actually.
It would have been better if you said, I got a guy.
I got a guy who knows a guy.
I got a guy named Larry. He swings by every Thursday at around 4.
Yeah. Hey, interesting things to note, Bryce.
Where's the trench?
Yeah, Larry, fill me
There's
in.
a trench coat and a fedora. He's like, hey.
Burke's use of the word mole in his conversation with Lex was a joke promise made by Stephen DeKnight in the House of L podcast to pay homage to the first film Superman and the Mole Men.
Wow. That's some writer stuff.
That is some geek stuff. That is Nerdstradamus at its best. You know.
I don't think you really know what you're doing on a television show until you do a podcast about it.
I've learned so much.
So what did we do again? I don't know. Let's rewatch it and do a podcast so we know what we did.
Yeah. Well, it
I'm learning
definitely,
a lot.
I'll tell you this. Smallville was sort of like, I wouldn't say forgotten, but in my mind, I was like, I did that. I'm proud of it. Moving on. But this has sort of reignited given me a clearer picture, a better understanding, and more of an appreciation. We've had fun. It's
Well, yeah. I mean, you only read your scenes, so you had no idea what was happening.
well, except the episode I directed.
Well, that's
I
what's
had to
super
read all
interesting. Is you guys have to have like
But
more informed conversations now with fans at cons. It's like when they ask you shoot from,
yeah, like now I know
It's
what's
like,
going on.
how did you even talk about this before?
Yeah, it's just it's you know what it is. It's reignited the fan base in a lot of ways. It's reignited our take on this whole process.
I will say that before we did this podcast, I would go to cons and people would say, "So I have a question." They would ask about episodes, and I'd be like, "I have no idea what you're talking
but
about."
now you do.
Now they ask questions. I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah. When Martha gets Keenan's military jacket file, the symbol of the U.S. Marine Corps is stamped on it. Yet Keenan was a U.S. Army Green Beret. I'm going to have to talk to props on that, or whoever the fuck does it. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Boy, has BetterHelp helped so many people, including Ryan, our engineer, including so many of my friends and people around the world. Everybody knows BetterHelp, and they're doing a good service. Men today face immense pressure to perform, to provide, and keep it all together. So it's no wonder that 6 million men in the U.S. suffer from depression every year, and it's often undiagnosed. It's okay to struggle. Real strength comes from opening up about what you're carrying and doing something about it so you can be at your best for yourself and everyone in your life. If you're a man and you're feeling the weight of the world, just talk to someone. Anyone, a friend, a loved one, a therapist. Therapy empowers you to be the best version of yourself, and it's for everyone. With over 35,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform. Join a session with a therapist at the click of a button and switch therapists at any time. That's a big, it's just such a great thing because I think people worry, what if I don't like my therapist, Tom? And the fact that you can switch it and you don't have to be uncomfortable or feel awkward, you just switch your therapists. It's entirely
Or also,
online.
you don't have to drive an hour to go see somebody who then tells you it's time's up. Like you can do it in the comfort of your own home.
And
I think
it's
that's a
so
big
much
thing.
more expensive, if you go to a therapist. It's amazing how much money you save using BetterHelp. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Talkville. That's betterhelp.com/Talkville. All right, folks. One of our top tier patrons is here. We love him. He's been around forever. Give it up for Ken, the Limerick guy. Ken, how are you, Ken?
I'm good, thanks.
You got a limerick for us?
Usually you have to get onto Patreon to read these, but I'll read it for the general public if you like.
Sure.
All right.
Wes Keenan seems like the type who will, once his memory we wipe, go and kill on command. That's what Lex Luthor planned, but Wes was the wrong prototype.
That's great.
I love it.
That's great, Ken. Holy crap.
Ken, we got to get you to do our intros for every episode.
Yeah, you'll have to do our intros.
That'd be great.
Ken, tell me something. Why Smallville? What got you into Smallville?
If you were a teenage nerd in the 1960s, as I was, there wasn't that many outlets. There was no Star Wars, no Dungeons and Dragons, no video games. And there was Star Trek and there was comic books. So I read a lot of comic books as a boy. And then I heard about this show in 2001 about Superman as a teenager. I thought that sounded cool. I started to watch it, but then I had just retired from the Navy. I had taken on a new civilian job that involved a lot of travel, and it's kind of a hassle figuring out when a show is going to be on the cable system of a different hotel every week. So I fell out of the habit. But I always wanted to get back into it, and so in the age of Netflix, I figured I could rent it on DVD. So I did, and I was just finishing about episode 1 when the algorithm told me about this podcast you guys have, so I synced up my viewing with the podcast.
I love that.
You're the youngest new viewer we've had.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this. Wait, so have you seen every episode?
No, I'm a little ahead of you. On the hiatus, when you guys are on hiatus, I'll work ahead. So I'm about midway through season 7 now, but
Are you enjoying it?
try not to get too far ahead. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Loving it.
Do you have a favorite season? Because we all have different favorite seasons.
I know the early seasons about Clark as a teenager, those are kind of fascinating in their way. But I think season 6 and developing season 7, those are both really good.
Do you think Lana was actually pregnant? And also, follow-up question, do you think Lex did that on purpose?
No and yes. But that's just a guess.
Good answer.
I love it. Let me ask you this. Do you like the way the show's going here in season 6 with Lex kind of going a little darker? And do you like seeing that? Do you like the story progressing like that?
And you know that's how the story's going to end up. But I really enjoyed seeing Lex and Clark as friends at the beginning. And I knew that this friendship was going to be lost, but I was sated to see it happen. I really like Nemesis, which is sort of the prequel to Prototype. Because in Nemesis, with all the reasons they have to hate each other, they still have too much integrity to let the other one die. Each of them rescues the other in that episode, and I really liked that. Seeing, I don't know if it's the friendship or just the sense of decency that they won't let this guy die, even though they've fallen out so badly.
Yeah. What do you have any questions for me and Tom about this episode Prototype or anything you want to talk about?
Or Ryan.
Don't think so. I'm sort of in a position like Ryan. I'm watching it for the first time as I go through the seasons.
I don't think so.
I like it. Who's your favorite character?
Lex is a very intriguing character.
Yeah.
Fascinating to watch his progression. Clark is also a cool character, but you know where he's going. And although I like the dark side that you show sometimes, Tom.
Well, thank you. Lana's sort of, for me right now, Lana's the mystery.
Yeah, Lana is getting dark.
Yeah, everybody's sort of getting dark.
Understandable.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a
how many violent deaths has that girl seen in her life?
How many head traumas has she had?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, did you cry when Jonathan Kent died?
I came close. I came real close. I knew that was going to happen because
the comics.
That's part of the story in every version, from the Christopher Reeve movie to the recent movie with Kevin Costner as Jonathan. Jonathan always seems to die, and it's sad. But
yeah. Well, dude, Ken, we love saying your name. We've been saying that since the beginning of the show. Ken the Limerick guy. You're always here. You're so supportive. We appreciate the love and the support of the show. And thank you so much. And thanks for your service. And thank you for your support. And we love you, buddy.
And we love your shirt.
Bye, guys. Oh, thanks.
Thanks, Ken.
Now it's time for the hotline. Let's go to the hotline. We're going to go to the top patron privilege, Leanne Pritchett. Let's see what Leanne's got for us. Some goodies.
Hey guys, it's Leanne P from Santa Barbara. So in this episode, Wes Keenan portrays a lot of the powers of other people that Clark has encountered throughout the series. So my question to y'all is, do you know who those people are and what their powers were? Thanks, y'all. Bye.
No clue. Ryan, Bryce?
No. That was too smart of a question for us.
Too smart of a
Leanne.
question for us. I have no idea.
Bryce might know, but not me.
For that question, I had no idea.
We got stumped.
And we wish we were smarter. But Shannon?
Guys, this is Shannon from Leominster, Mass. This is for episode 21 prototype. To me, this episode displays how Clark has changed over the past 2 seasons on how he addressed moral dilemmas when encountering meteor-infected or 33.1ers. Wes wasn't only in control of what he was doing, he was being controlled by Luthor Corp, but deep down isn't a killer. In the past, Clark would question and hesitate before reacting and try to stop people without killing them. This time around, he doesn't seem to have too much hesitation before Clark adds to our death count. Thanks.
That's because Clark knew there was only one more episode to go before we finish the season.
I think he had no hesitation because this Wes Keenan's a force that needs to be stopped. Like, it's obviously this dark entity that's coming along. So I don't think there was any hesitation. But good questions. You guys think a lot. We don't. Larissa.
Hey guys, this is Larissa from Dallas, Texas. I just thought this was hilarious. I don't know if you guys caught this or thought about this, but why is it that when Clark super speeds into Lana and Lex's bedroom, my question is how is it possible that Clark didn't think to himself, this is dumb? Like, she doesn't know that I have super speed powers. So how am I going to explain why I'm in their freaking bedroom? Like, what the hell? Like, Clark has no idea that Lana knows that he has superpowers yet.
Larissa, I'd like you to get a pair of suspenders. Because the suspenders...
Maybe it wasn't the first time he super sped into the bedroom.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't know that she knows yet.
I thought that was a joke by Tom. Yeah, but I think that he's...
It was a joke.
It was good. I liked it. Yeah, it was weird. It's perverse. Here's... no, this is Patrick.
Hey guys, this is Patrick from Raleigh, North Carolina, calling on season 6, episode 21, prototype. Are we going to address the fact that Clark straight up murdered Wes Keenan? That kind of goes against everything in Clark's nature. I know people have died fighting him, but that's typically because of their own actions. But this case, he just straight up heat blasted him to death. So I don't know if he was a clone, it doesn't count, or what the deal is. But just curious to get your thoughts on that.
Patrick, here's the deal. There was no coming back for this guy. This guy was suffering. He was suffering going out on these missions. It wasn't what he was, supposed to be doing. Remember, he's a soldier. He's supposed to be helping people. So if there's anything I would think is like he's putting someone out of their misery. It's active euthanasia, if you will.
Does it help Clark? Do you think he's thinking, oh, everyone thinks this guy is dead already? So this is kind of like just getting it back to zero.
Wow.
Well, if he doesn't, other people are going to die. He's saving
I'll tell you,
people.
the actor didn't have these thoughts.
We know that.
The actor really didn't. I mean, just a few episodes ago, he was in a battle in a cage with some people that lasted the whole episode.
That's true.
When he could have just ended it before he ever got in a cage. So
Petar or Peter. I think it's, I don't know. Was it ever addressed on set or in the prep for this episode that the actor was in a previous season as a guest star? Why go back to the same actor? I didn't remember.
He was a pretty notable guest star in a previous episode. Yeah, he was the guy that died, and then he came back to life, and then his brother strapped the TNT to his chest in the hospital.
Oh, that episode.
Maybe Bryce should just do this podcast because he knows what he's talking about.
Bryce could. He could
but
redo
that
it
is
by
such
himself.
a weird thing. Like, why? Like, the producers couldn't have forgotten that, really. Why?
No, the producers and the cast, because listen, when you're a guest star in an episode and they bring you back for another episode, your quote increases. Like, people know that they're bringing the same person back.
Yeah,
unless they're hiring twins.
But it's also coming back
Jimmy
to
Olsen
as a
and his
different
brother.
character. It's like, why not just get a different actor?
Rosenbaum rating system. We're going to start with Ryan.
Rosenbaum rating.
1.
I called it.
1.
I was like going like this.
I didn't even see you.
Tom?
1.
Yeah, I give it 1. Bryce?
Heater. I don't like this one.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Bryce. Next time, press mute before you answer. Death and save count. 4 dead. Senator and his 2 security guards. Wes dies.
It's a lot.
1 saved. Clark saves Lois through 21 episodes. 35 dead. 35 saved. 37 saved. Series 212 dead. 227 saved. Ryan's favorite scene.
Oh, God.
Oh, good luck.
Ryan's favorito.
Oh, babe. All right. Scene 1. Wes kills the senator. Scene 2, Clark and Lana's late night rendezvous. Or scene 3, the infrared fight with Clark and Wes.
3.
Yeah, I almost want to say 3 as a safety in case you're right, but I kind of think 1 where he killed the senator was really cool. But I'll go 3.
Well, what's Rosenbaum's favorite scene?
3. You guys
3.
are right.
So we were right.
Yes.
Yeah, I figured it was a bigger scene. So, all right. Well, look. Any final thoughts? I don't really have any. But
did you also kind of think when Wes jumped from the plank with that knife, he kind of looked like Quentin Tarantino for a second? Did you catch that?
Yeah. But by the way, did you notice when he's holding up this knife like this, it's wobbling?
Oh yeah.
It was terrible. It was this rubber knife. It was like, how stupid this guy's thinking he's making this awesome. Oh wait, see. It's just the rubber on the.
That's not the actor's fault.
It's not his fault. The blade's moving. What's the prop guy? I'm doing Bill Burr again.
The blade's moving, George.
Where's the prop guy? It's an expensive show.
The director thought he could fix it in post with visual effects.
That's it for the episode. Stick around next week as we get spooked talking about season 6, episode 22, Phantom, the final episode of season 6. Let's take the discussion online. Talkville Pod at Talkville Podcast. You know where to find us. Join Patron, patreon.com/Talkville. Become a supporter of the podcast. If you want more information, hotline, all that, it's in the show's description. We love you, and it's been a real joy. Let's do one more episode and see where we land.
Each Wednesday, we fans get to chill with Michael and Tom on Talkville. And one top-tier member gets to say, remember, folks, always hold on to Smallville.
All right, we couldn't do it without you. We say it all the time, but our patrons are our heart and soul of this podcast. So thank you. And here are our top tiers and grand tiers. Leanne P, Raj C, Santiago M, Little Lisa, ThomasTomTurner, Shane W, BetsyD, Abhi P, KarenApple M, 99 more, Leilani N, Brett G, always hold on to Smallville, Charlie T, Garrett W, Bob K, Tom N, Jason W.
We were just talking about Bob before the show.
And it's Lana. Rhymes with banana.
Lana rhymes with banana W.
Yes.
BetsyD. Brian G, Grape Jelly 817, Amanda R, Teddy 127, Michael P, Ryan R, Randy B, Craig G, Jor L, Heather and Greg. I made Talkville say butts. Brian H, Eric K, Kristen B, Finky, Early is on time. Damn, who's that? Jeanette E, Gerald Z, Doug R, and Carlos C.
Shanna, I work hard, so my dog has a good life. Ken the Limerick Guy, Corey L, Mr. Home Arcade, Claire M, D Brown, Jules M, Elgon Supremo, Brian P, McBurts, Ginger Moose, Christoph S. Nobody puts Leah in a corner. Amanda Lynn, Jessica B, Michael Kane doesn't blink. Sebastian F, Wolfie, Matthew and Lincoln B, Mary Lou L, Caesar G, Shannon Fofana and Matt Maverick, Randy S, Cassie B, Danny Mo Mirabel, and Mary K.
Sophie L. Stephen A. Danger. When you're rich, you aren't crazy. You're eccentric. Rosenbaum fans, Sammy Sherman. Carrie Ann, the Alexander Castle. Jenny, B76, Monica T, Ms. M, Emily Wood, Emily Who Lots.
Yeah.
It makes me want to say something else. Jeffrey K, previously on Smallville, Keith B, Cookie Kareem, Libertarian.
Danny Z from Cleveland, Biagio C, Felicia B, Lady J, Madison H as told by Helen, Kelowna A, Natalia, Dr. J, Kurt F, Clois, 28, Dr. G and Dr. T, Kryptonite, Ned L, Flirtatious B, Per 6, a Luther Corp subsidiary, Nam and L, Smallville for Life, Bobby B, Kendrick F, Stacy L, Other Brother Daryl, Melanie P, Charlie M, Cheyenne F,
AJ Sisson, Heather H, Tom and Michael's friend Mickey, Allison C, Carrie and H, we'll never know. Syrian, we never know. The Real Chunky B, that's great. Hubs, Cuban Boy, Laura C, Sarah C, Adam C, Jackie J, John W, Jet Blazer Michael, Bradley H, Laura L, Dan L of Chai Zoda, Maria P, and Licious W.
Licious W. We love you guys. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Patreon.com/Talkville. And we'll see you very soon.